Hello, you lovely people. Today I'm coming at you with something a little bit different, and I know what you might be thinking. Wow, is this unedited? And not the highlight? Are you getting lazy? And yes, I am. I am absolutely getting lazy. But that is just kind of what we're going with this time around. I kind of wanted to make an update video to inform you folks what is currently going on in my sphere of content creation. So starting off with the most immediately connected to the YouTube channel itself. Since I began streaming, what is featured heavily on the channel has been Twitch highlights and a few minor projects. While I enjoy the Twitch highlights and enjoy sharing the moments we've shared together to a wider audience, I feel like a lot of it is just the vibe and the atmosphere in the streams themselves. So instead, what I kind of want to do is to space out the highlights, save up more moments, and perhaps do monthly or bi-monthly highlights of some sort, and replacing the weekly Twitch highlights with something else. One thing I have been playing around with a bit as a thought project is to run sort of a mini podcast format. Because at this point, we have on many different fronts began building communities around Twitch, around YouTube, and around visibility and creation in general. And what I thought could be fun would be to bring in various people from these various communities to just kind of engage with various topics related to what we do and what we enjoy. While I've yet to get everything I need for that in place, it is currently a work in project that I hope to get off the ground in, a week's time or two. Hopefully not too long. So with that being the one major change I'm planning to bring in at the moment, let's look at what we are currently doing. Lately you might have noticed that a lot more Final Fantasy guide-like videos have been popping up on the channel. And that is kind of the result of two projects I wanted to get going at one time. Namely, number one, to create a series of quick guides to the aspects that are kind of vital to the game itself for people to get into the loop and get off the ground. And then to create a series of slightly longer video going more in depth about various side activities that you might encounter in game that might not be well explored or a little bit in the peripherals of the game rather than being a central attraction. As an example, the two latest videos I made in this project has been the quick guide to making Gil and the sort of complete guide to the new Golden Saucer. Or complete introduction, rather. The reason why I want to get this going, despite there already being a fair bit of guides out there, is that I want to make sort of a quick go-to playlist for all the new players that might be coming in and looking for updated information. As well, of course, hoping to elucidate some topics for, maybe long-time players that hasn't explored a topic yet and want to learn more about it. But in the end, it stems from my involvement in the Final Fantasy community and how much I care for those in it, and I would like to help improve it further in the ways I can. And while this is something that will mostly be contained to YouTube, I do have some ongoing projects on Twitch as well. As some of you might know, I have the three main streaming days, namely Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And furthermore, in sort of the themings of those days, Medieval Mondays, Varied Wednesdays, and Final Fantasy Fridays. And while I do consider myself a variety streamer, I do enjoy playing games that fall into sort of fantasy, sci-fi topics, and will likely work around that for the foreseeable future. All with a focus on just kind of hanging out with you guys and just having a good time, Let's build a nice and open community together where we can all just, sit down, kick back, and relax. That said, one of the things I have been trying out lately that I'm very excited about is playing through Dragon's Dogma with a story on highlighting mechanics, lore, and just the various world building. Because it is one of my favorite games of all times, and I was always a firm believer in that the story can be read and interpreted in so many different ways. And being able to share that with the community, like sort of that passion of mine, is something I am personally very excited about, and that I hope you guys are excited about as well. Depending on how you like it, I might even seek to do so with other games I enjoy as well, and just kind of offer some perspectives on, you know, games of the past, newer games, and just kind of what goes on in them. Hopefully that could be a little bit of fun, and maybe something we could go over into with on YouTube as well. Do summary videos, highlighting what happened, or just sort of special moments, or examples of what I believe core to my experience or reading of the games. You know, like a fun little book club, but instead of books, we have blades and magic and controllers. So, you know, feel free to give me some feedback on that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And speaking of things that have yet to come, I do have a couple of projects that I want to start on or have planned for, but haven't quite gotten to just yet. One thing you might have noticed is that in more or less everything I do, there features a man in a bucket, or Buck as I like to call him. And I kind of wanted to incorporate him into the logo and what we do a little bit more. Because while I am, as you might have noticed, faceless, I would kind of have a medium to interact with or represent me while we're live or during content production. To this end, I have heavily been considering sort of going the path of the VTuber, and by extension, as many start off as PNG tubers, namely having a PNG of the character just kind of there as a representation, as a sort of not necessarily a placeholder but an avatar until we can get the full 3D model and what's required for it up and going. In addition, there has also been some questions about my plans about whether or not to make a Discord for us to kind of update through, communicate, and just kind of have that two-way communication. And that is something I am absolutely looking into. I would love to be able to more freely communicate with you, see your opinions, feedback, and be able to more readily update you on what is going on, rather than, you know, just occasionally putting out a 10-minute update video. So, something to look forward to, and I hope you do too. And maybe through that we can also put together some, you know, collabs, work with more people in the community more readily, and just kind of take it from there, because I care about each and every one of you, and I would like to get closer and, you know, work together to create something truly worthwhile. So that is mostly what has been on my mind as of late, you know, the goals and projects I have set forth and I'm currently working on. I have to say I truly didn't imagine any of this getting this far when I started off, nor was it necessarily the goal. But I find myself just so grateful, so appreciative of all the love and all the interest you have shown in me, and I'm wanting to just make that truly worthwhile, to make sure that for all the love and time you spend with me, you will have something to look forward to and something to remember as well. But this is it for now. Thank you for sitting with me and listening to my stream of consciousness as we go through this. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Have a nice one.